So I'd like to start this presentation with the open question, which is how much time it usually takes a user to understand a new feature that you implemented or your whole product. And oftentimes our customers need some time to understand the core concepts, and it may vary from minutes to hours to sometimes even days. And well, obviously we try to minimize it by using techniques such as intuitive UX or onboarding techniques, or in very complicated cases, even one-to-one sessions with our staff. But there is the tool that everyone understands and uses every day, which is our language. So how cool would that be to control things with that? I think we can move to the next one. Yeah, so in one of our recent products, we built a very sophisticated search, which allows users to find specific data that they're looking for through the huge database. But the downside is that it takes some time to understand how it works. So the onboarding time was less than ideal. And to fix that, we decided to add a new feature, which allows users to describe what they're looking for instead of playing with toggles, sliders, clicking the buttons and stuff like that. So basically, we can move to the next slide, to the demo part. I'll give you the, for this presentation, I prepared the demo of such system, and I'll give you like a legend, what we are looking for here. Well, we'll be looking at a bit later. So imagine we have a company that has a huge employee database, and each employee has parameters such as their roles, seniority level, salaries, and skills. And from time to time, we have clients. We need stuff done with the new members, depending on their needs. And the problem that we face internally is that our HR and recruiters, well, they're onboarding to understand how to use that system. Well, let's say it takes days or even weeks. So our goal is to reduce that time to hours or, well, even minutes. I'll share my screen now and show you how it works. Give me a sec. Okay. I think you see my screen now. So let's imagine we have a new client, and let's say they pass the sales stage, they pass the business research stage, and we define that they probably need for this project a front-end developer and back-end developer. So let's see how the search works in this case. Let's say we're looking for a front-end. Sorry, I'll change my language. Just a sec. Okay. So we're looking for front-end dev with, let's say, React and TypeScript skills. Let's start from that and click the search. Takes a bit of time to communicate with AI models. So we got 279 records of potential matches. And let's say, well, we see here that the salary is, well, a bit high in some cases for our client. Let's say we want to add the cap that the max salary is 80K. And we just continue, let's say, a conversation. My salary is 80K. So as you can see, it didn't override the previous filters and parameters that we need. It just added a new one, which is salary. And now all the results are, well, developers under 80K. And, well, let's say we want to add one more constraint. We're looking for actually a mid or senior developer. So I'll just write something like mid or senior. It doesn't need to be very explicit. It should understand what we are talking about. So yeah, as you can see, it just added a new filter, which basically like middle or senior developers. And, well, in this case, as you can see, the filter results are quite accurate. And just for the background, it had 100,000 records, and we're now down to 29, which is very, well, it's easy to understand, pick somebody from this list. Now, let's say we selected, well, a couple of candidates to show our clients. Now we want to find a backend developer. I'll just type reset. I mean, why use UI if we can just describe what we want? Okay, and now let's move to the backend developer. So I'll just type something like backend devs with, let's say, Node.js and Postgres skills, Node.js and Postgres. And let's say we look for somebody like senior or higher. So in this case, it should understand that there are positions higher than senior and select those without explicitly defining, without definition on our end. So as you can see, it looks now for the backend developers with seniority level either senior, lead, or principal, and skills include Node.js and Postgres. And well, let's say we want to gap salary as well. So like, I don't know, like salary between 120 and 150K. So as you can see, it added additional filter, which is 120 and 150K, which exactly what we looked for. And yeah, we are now down to 7 records. I believe we are more than capable to select somebody from this list and present to our client. Okay, so the conclusions. As you can see, with such approach, we can reduce onboarding time and overall familiarity. Sorry. So how well our users understand our product without, studying it, reading the documents, interacting with support and cases like that. So that's on the business side of things. And from the for the software development side of this conference, I'd like to mention that for this demo, I was using the OpenAI model 4.1 mini. It doesn't have direct access to the database, so it's basically secure by default. It can, however, give commands and requests additional data. So in my demonstration, it was for skills. So it thinks that a skill was requested, and it asks to add additional information what skills we actually have in our database. So yeah, I think that's probably about it. I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Yes, you said that you are not directly connected to the database, but you use the language model to determine the filtering. So how did you export some metadata from the database so that you told the language model which filtering was possible?
Yeah, so basically for this use case, what model does, it defines the filters itself. And I asked it directly what the output should look like. So basically it's like a JSON of some sort that our software understands. So it has a defined list of fields that can be used for the filtering. And it has, each field can have a commands like equal, between, and stuff like that, that our software understands and knows how to utilize to effectively search the database. So basically the output from the model, the input is user description of the filter, and then the job of the model is to understand how to convert it to actual filters that our software understands. So basically it bridges, it's like, well, the last bullet point in this slide, like it helps bridge the gap between human way to interact and strict software commands.
Brilliant. So that's why also then it went fast, because the underlying query was already optimized for speed and presentation also.
Yeah, it's basically, it has very strict limitation what it should do. And this way we reduce the guessing and the thought process of the LLM. And basically it works like, there is a technique in machine learning called, well, named entity recognition, which I remember just abbreviation there. And what it does is extracts the exact data from the pile of text. So it just removes some unnecessary words and try to understand what user trying to describe. So yeah,